Chances are you've already seen this video of Rosita the walking doll on TikTok before, but let me give you some backstory. This is Rosa Alvarado and her doll Rosita from Saltillo, Mexico. In the video, we see Rosa, the doll's owner, holding Rosita, the doll's hand as they walk through the courtyard. In the original video, a man asked Rosa how long she's had the doll for. It was unclear if she said 48 or 42 years. In the second video, we can see Rosa years later walking with Rosita. However, notice that her hair color has changed and she's wearing a different outfit. According to news outlets, Rosa maintains that it is the same doll. Here we see a man and a woman attempt to walk with Rosita, but she doesn't walk with ease the way she does with Rosa. Neighbors have reported to several news outlets that they've seen the doll move whenever they peek into Rosa's window. I did some research and found these dolls from the 1960s called Wendy Walker dolls that could possibly explain the walking mechanism. What do you guys think?
Disney theories too real to ignore. Starting off, we have Frozen. Some fans have pointed out that Kristoff's outfit looks a lot like reindeer skin. And you know what reindeer we never see in the film? Sven's mom. So theory goes that Sven's mom was killed and skinned and turned into clothes for Kristoff. The theory gets even darker, saying that the reason why Sven and Kristoff are so close is because Sven feels connected to him, because he's literally wearing his mom's skin. Like and follow for more content like this.
Of traffic lights in the world. To prevent pedestrians jaywalking at red light, a virtual traffic sign was designed on the streets of Paris. When you cross at a red light, the billboard will sound like an emergency brake. It takes a picture of you in panic, and then put it on the big screen. It says, "Don't risk your life." These photos are displayed in various public places. Do you dare to break through such traffic lights?
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off. Her nose was cut off. Her eyeballs were...
¡Satanás, abuela! ¡Concha tu madre! ¡Ayúdenme! ¡No te abierto la puerta!
Craziest moments captured on dash cam that will absolutely blow your mind. First, we have this motorcycle. First, it looks normal until you realize there's not a single person riding this thing. It's just swerving recklessly down the road. Pretty crazy. Next, we have this guy. He's really big. He pushed this girl, and then she just, what? Roundhouse kicks him to the face. That's pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Then right here, this guy almost gets hit by the car, and he's on his phone. What is he doing? And then he falls off anyway. Is that karma?
There is something very wrong with this mannequin in the window of a bridal store in Mexico. Legend says that this mannequin is named La Pascualita and is actually the preserved body of the original shop owner's daughter, who died tragically on her wedding day. She appeared in the window in 1930, and locals were instantly disturbed by her lifelike appearance. Not only is her face astonishingly expressive, but her hands are strangely detailed, and her legs even have vigorous veins. And like I said, people say she looks too much like the shop owner's daughter. According to the story, the daughter was preparing to be married when she was tragically bitten by a black widow spider and succumbed to its poison. And it wasn't long after her death that the mannequin appeared in the shop window. Over the years, customers have complained that La Pascualita's eyes will follow them around the store as they're shopping. They've also said that they've turned around and found her in a different position. Now, as creepy as this legend is, it is very improbable that it's a real human, just because it wouldn't be able to look like that for 8 decades. But nonetheless, it's still pretty creepy to look at.
I chewed your tongue. Karen and Willard Luders ran a musical ministry. In December of 2010, Karen began erratically talking about God while simultaneously showing signs of aggravation and bizarre behavior. During one of these evenings, her husband Willard gave her a kiss. Karen crushed his penis in her hands and then bit off her husband's tongue. This is the recording of Willard's 911 call, desperately trying to communicate to the dispatcher while his wife sings religious Christmas songs in the background.
I love you.
Movies that are supposedly cursed, Part 1. Coming in at number 1, we have the infamous Antrum. This movie is known as the most deadliest film ever, and it follows a brother and sister trying to dig to hell. It's said that anyone that watches this movie will end up dying.
Disturbing dark web stories that actually happened. Today is about a woman named Chloe Ailing. In 2017, Chloe Ailing traveled to Milan for a photo shoot. The photo shoot turned bad when she was kidnapped by two people, a part of a dark web organization known as Black Death. They injected her with ketamine and drove her to a farmhouse. They posted these photos of the woman and advertised her for the highest bidder. After a couple days of her chained up, the kidnappers felt bad, released her, and even took her shoe shopping. A while later, one of the kidnappers was arrested and sentenced to 16 years in prison. And then he came forth and said this whole thing was a publicity stunt. Here's why people believe it was a publicity stunt. 1. Why did her kidnappers release her so easily? 2. Why didn't she ask for help when she was shoe shopping? 3. A neighbor in the farmhouse said that he saw them eating breakfast together and laughing with one another. 4. When she was released, the kidnapper walked her into the government building. What do you guys think? Do you think this was real or a hoax?
A family in Houston, Texas can't seem to get rid of this haunted Elsa doll. They bought the doll around Christmas of 2013. The doll recited phrases from the song Let It Go when you press the button in its necklace. And for 2 years it worked just fine. In 2015 it started alternating between English and Spanish, which it hadn't done before. But that's not the most bizarre part. The family owned the doll for about 6 years. During that time they never had to change the batteries. The doll would randomly begin turning on by itself without having its button touched, even singing when it switched off. The family decided to throw the doll away in 2019. Weeks later, they found it inside of a bench in their living room. The family then decided to double bag the doll, placing it at the bottom of their trash can and taking it out on garbage day. They went on a trip shortly after, and upon returning home, they found the doll in their backyard. The doll has since been mailed to a friend, and he taped it to the bumper of his car. And thankfully, it hasn't made its way back to Houston yet.
I can't say that I know what this is, but it sure as hell looks right here.
Yo, I thought this shit was fake, but go to YouTube. Go to NASA's YouTube. Look, I'm on YouTube, bro, right here. Yo, this shit is real. Around 34, 24. Look at this shit, man. Look at this fucking thing.
Use that term nominal, that essentially just means that we're within the expected and appropriate
Yo, what?
where we should be. So that all that means.
Yo, what the fuck?
I'm not even gonna pretend that the photo behind me looks normal tonight. I think you can see why. This doll is the work of Anatoly Moskvin. Moskvin had this macabre obsession with dolls. What could be so wrong with creating your own doll, though? Well, what Anatoly would do is he would dig up people's bodies and create dolls out of them. It wasn't until 2011 when he was caught that he was stopped. When he was arrested in 2011, his house was searched and they found 26 mummified corpses in his house.
Do you guys remember those creepy knocks on doors in a town in Malaysia? So it would happen in the middle of the night and people couldn't figure out who it was or what was doing it. Well, even more creepier things started to happen after that. Another resident captured more of these knockings. Look. But then somebody notices something outside walking. Watch this. The real question is, what do you think it is?
This clip was taken in what appears to be an old tunnel or mine shaft that's being worked in. A few seconds into the clip, we see a creature appear out of the ground. It appears to be a large rat based on its face, but it seems to move more like a snake than anything else, and it also doesn't have the same tail as a rat. It stays moving in the frame for a long time, and we can see a lot of its body, meaning that it's probably quite large in size, easily a few feet long. This surpasses the average size of a rat, and is substantially bigger than the type of creatures you are likely to find in an underground area like this, and that has made certain people believe that this was an undiscovered creature.